Hey, Trailblazers. There's always been one stop between Houston and the Guadalupe Mountains that has mattered to me the most, and that's my stop at Mom's Kitchen Express in Van Horn, Texas. Over the years, I've told our hiking community about this little gym out in West Texas and to swing by when they're heading to the Guads for a wonderful meal. For me, it was always a joy to stop by and hear Mr. Espinosa saying, "Another one of your hikers stopped by for a meal." They had to close the restaurant down for a couple of years due to family needs, but there's some exciting news. Mom's Kitchen Express is open once again. Same wonderful recipes, and it still feels like home. And it still carries the legacy of the man who loved this land as much as we do. So if you're heading out to the Guadalupe Mountains or just passing through Van Horn, make sure you stop by for a meal and to tell them hi from the Trailblazing Texas podcast community. Mr. Espinosa, you were missed. Now on with the episode. Welcome to the Trailblazing Texas podcast, where we embark on a journey through our diverse Texas landscapes and breathtaking trails while always engaging with our amazing Texas hiking community. So settle in, tighten up those bootlaces, and get ready for the thrilling tales awaiting for you on this episode. So if you had to describe the park in 3 words, what would it be?
Remote, rugged, and rewarding. Yeah, remote, obviously, just the drive out there. So, for those of you who don't know, Guadalupe Mountains is about 2 hours east of El Paso, at about an hour west of Carlsbad. The range extends Texas, New Mexico. But there are not cities, towns, gas stations, food for 50, 100 miles, no civilization. So definitely you get that remote feeling even before you see the mountains on that drive out here. Yeah, you very much feel alone, but welcomed in a way. Rugged for sure. The park at first might seem a little uninviting. All the plants are pokey. The
All.
trails, all of the plants are pokey. We talked earlier about how infamous it is for chewing up your shoes. You know, the animals have claws and talons and spikes and venom. We don't have a scenic drive through the park like most national parks do. So at first it seems a little uninviting. And I think that's kind of the moment where that love can fall into play. Like, you have to earn your experience here at Guadalupe. It's not given to you. If
Man,
you
well
want to have
said.
that moment, yeah, if you wanna have that moment, it is up to you. It is your responsibility to find that moment. So I like that. It's not an obvious, duh, love. It's a love you have to work for, in the best way. And so that, kinda ties up that last word, rewarding. Yeah, it's an experience unlike any other, and you feel like you're not in Texas, and just what a gift the Guadalupe is to us, and an honor to just stand in her shadows and look at her, so but yeah, getting through that toughness, I think, is what makes it even that more special because it is so pokey at first.
Yeah, and you're exactly right, and I never really thought of it like this. You have to earn the experience.
Mhm.
And what I see it because 'cause I've been there so much, is I don't think a lot of people understand that.
Yeah.
And Guadalupe Peak is not the experience.
No, yeah.
It's not, and I try my best to stress to people that the park is way more and even, like, I don't want to because selfishly, I just wanna feel like the park's all mine when I'm in the backcountry, but man, walking through the notch, unbelievable.
Mhm.
Going probably about a half a mile past the notch, and you have that ridge walk, that little
Mm,
saddle that you cross up into to get to the campsite.
yeah.
The backside of Bush Mountain when it's just cliff and you're right there, and you can just see for miles.
Yeah.
Permian Reef, Jason's Overlook. I mean, that's and also, it's funny, I would love to get your opinion. if you look at all the elevation gains that are possible at the Guads, Guadalupe Peak is one of the easiest, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I would say Dog Canyon to get to elevation on Bush or Tejas is not hard.
Yeah.
I
Um,
would say probably the next hardest you have those 2, you can argue, which one's the easiest. Then the next one's gonna be the easiest. I would say Guadalupe Peak or that elevation gain is probably the 3rd easiest elevation gain in the park. I think Tejas is harder. I definitely think, Bear Canyon's harder,
yes.
and then you get into Permian Reef, maybe that to get to elevation could be a little bit easier than Guad, so maybe
Mhm.
it's Guad's the 4th easiest. And then you have we talked about Tejas, I think is harder. You have
McKittrick.
yeah, McKittrick, but up
Yeah.
to, uh, I guess you would top out by McKittrick Canyon campsite. That's way harder than Guadalupe
Yes.
Peak. So,
Yeah.
it's funny that people Guadalupe Peak, the
Mhm.
difficulties and stuff. And man, if you really wanna difficult, almost every one of the other elevation gains are harder. And
Mm.
you could really challenge yourself or
Yeah.
catch yourself in a lot of trouble
Yeah.
if you're not ready, you're not, prepared.
Yeah. Yeah. Guadalupe Peak is the most popular by far, but it is not the best trail. I think it's a good introduction. And I think that was both of our first trails
Mhm.
at Guadalupe. So I think it's a good introduction to people. It's definitely a butt kicker. But yes, there are much tougher climbs at Guadalupe. Yeah, Bear Canyon, McKittrick is kind of infamously known as the toughest trail in Texas. Shumard coming out of Shumard, Bush Mountain. Yeah, so if that's the trail that people are introduced to the park, I think that's great. That's how both of us got started. But yeah, there's a lot tougher out there for sure. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
absolutely. And we won't even talk about the quad quad.
Ooh.
All right, so let's start to explore the park a little bit. I know we've kind of touched on some things. So I had this question because it's kind of like a standard question with all the state parks and stuff. I have no idea, but how many miles are trailed in the park?
We have a little over 80 miles,
Holy
and the
moly.
park is about, yes, 80,000 acres. So, yeah.
Wow, 80 miles of trailed.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
And to the listeners, 9 of the highest peaks in Texas are in the park.
Woot woot,
Woo woo.
woot woot. Take that.
All right, so we kind of I mean, we've been discussed a lot of this, but, as you've said, and as I would definitely agree, the most part Guadalupe Mountain National Park, it's known for Guadalupe Peak, that's the most popular trail. Outside of your favorite and my favorite, Permian Reef, what other hikes or areas do you think deserve more attention?
Absolutely, yeah. This part of the park is an area that shocks people, an area that people don't know exists, and that's going to be on our west side, and we call it the Salt Basin Dunes. So, White Sands National Park, our neighbor up in New Mexico, that is the largest gypsum sand dune field in the country. The second largest is at Guadalupe. So I love this park because you can kind of get a bunch of other different parks, all mixed into one. She has a lot of different faces. But yeah, the Salt Basin Dunes is definitely an area that is not loved as much as Guad Peak or others, and I think it deserves that love. It's really fun. You drive for about an hour around to the west side, and the last little 7 miles is a little bumpy. So ask a ranger if your car is right for that that drive. And then it's about 30-minute hour hike out, and you climb up on that first dune. You're on the moon, baby.
Yep.
And then you get that great view of the Western Escarpment, which I know you're a big fan of. Okay, guys, look. You're not showing it. Yeah. So you get the view of Jason's tattoo,
Yep.
and it's so fun. You see the little tracks of the lizards and snakes, and these plants are growing. And there's some species that only grow on those dunes, endemic
Really?
species. So, yeah, I think
Wow.
if you want a little bit of Guadalupe, a little bit of white sands, the dunes is for you. But of course, you're going to have sand in all of your gear for weeks.
Mhm.
But yeah, that is a part of the park I love going to. I try to go there about once a month. Yeah, it's like space.
And so to the listeners, I have a Subaru Outback, and I made it perfectly. So if you have something similar to an Outback, you're not gonna have any issues.
Hmm.
Um, a car, I don't know that you would it wouldn't be a comfortable drive. I would say that because it is bumpy, yeah, potholes, all that kind of stuff. So
And after the
definite
rains, it's sticky.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And kinda to go with that, there is nothing more spectacular than hiking from Shumard, and I'm just gonna say to the highway because that's the direction that you wanna go, and when I was broken by El Cap, that's what we did. We hiked down to the highway. There is nothing at sunrise
Mm,
to be heading down that trail and
mm,
seeing, William Creek Ranch House.
mhm,
Just sitting out there by itself as the sun's coming up, absolutely spectacular. So,
mhm.
yeah, and I don't know from the White Sands area, are you able to even see Williams Creek Ranch House from there?
No, not from the
Yeah, I don't think
dunes.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but that's another just spectacular, moment, spectacular view is just you're broken, you're you got sand everywhere, you're cranky, and
Yeah.
it's the sun starts to come up, and you're heading to the highway to hitchhike back to Pine Springs
Silly
and,
goose.
to yeah, to see the William Creek Ranch House off in the distance. Oh, man. Whew.
Yeah. And yeah, hopefully that will be open soon. So stay tuned
And
for updates.
one of these days, and I've already told you this, and I'm gonna say it publicly on the Trailblazing Texas podcast, I am going to 100% try my best to fund the restoration of that house
Aw.
in its entirety.
Yeah, she deserves love, definitely.
She does. Oh, it's spectacular, spectacular. All right, so we talked about this most bang for your buck trail in the park. We cannot say Guadalupe Peak, or we cannot say Permian Reef Trail. What is something else that gives you the whole essence of the park in, let's say, a single hike?
Mm. Without a doubt, our crown jewel, the trail that made us a national park, McKittrick Canyon. Really famous in the fall because of those big tooth maples, those leaves change. McKittrick Canyon is where the story of Guadalupe Mountains started. But yeah, within that hike out to Pratt Cabin and back, it's pretty flat, 5 miles round trip, and you see the three different ecosystems that the park protects. Right at the beginning, you get the Chihuahuan Desert, the most diverse desert in North America. And then you start to enter these canyons, and dare I say it gets tropical. There's literally a rainforest tree that grows in McKittrick Canyon and in other places of the park. It's that bright red tree with the peeling bark, the Texas madrone. And after it rains, oh, it's neon red. You can't miss it. That's one of our top questions we get at the front desk is what is that beautiful tree? Then you pass over these little kind of small stream creek crossings, get that babbling brook sound, the shuffle of the leaves. The canyon, it begins to shade you. So that area is the riparian, the water. And then the third ecosystem you enter quite close to the cabin, the woodland pine forest. Those big tall trees, green year round, a lot cooler down there. So I love McKittrick because it's kind of Guadalupe, SparkNotes version. You get those three ecosystems, you see the diversity of the canyons. when I grew up in Houston, I thought West Texas was just tumbleweeds and dust, but it's colorful, it's magical, and yeah, tropical, like I said. But yeah, McKittrick really is that, and we get most of the visitors there in the fall, October, November, which is coming up. So yeah.
I think another special place in the Guads is the bowl. And can
Ah,
you tell us a little bit about the bowl and what makes it such a unique ecological pocket?
yes. So standing here at the visitor center, looking straight up, you get this really picturesque mountain. It's called Hunter Peak, fifth tallest in Texas. And right next to the summit is what Jason mentioned. It's called the Bowl. And I think that was so beautifully described. It is a unique ecological pocket. So for those of you who don't know, it's this kind of depression surrounded by trees. It's a meadow, and it's not uncommon to see elk, one of the only elk herds in the state of Texas, to hear them bugling like we do in the fall. These beautifully tall trees, 40, 50 foot tall, Douglas fir, ponderosa pines. You get that beautiful smell. And in the kind of spring and summer, depending on the rains, just the wildflowers. I'm looking across, it's just a rainbow of colors of different flowers, and you have these really special birds. And some of those bird species, the only place in Texas you can find them are in the bowl at Guadalupe Mountains. So we know how special it is. The animals and plants know how special it is. But yeah, if I had to say that the heart is anywhere in the park that represents Guadalupe Mountains, it would be in the bowl. And yeah, just as any meadow in any park, very unique, very special. So that one, definitely stay on trail and try to preserve all that for future use that come to hike. But yeah, the bowl is it's like a fairyland, that beautiful meadow, and you never know what you'll see up there. So
Yeah, and that, exactly what you say. And I'm glad you said it. But we have a responsibility going into the park to not litter. It means like
mm,
it matters.
yeah,
You impact your
yeah,
orange pills. They're not
mm,
they're not going to decompose. Your
mm,
micro trash
yeah,
or plastics. We need to do a better job.
mm,
And I don't know if it's through education or yeah, I don't know, but it infuriates me to be out in the back country and see toilet paper,
yeah,
see orange pills,
yeah,
see, like that time when we had called you, somebody just abandoned their tent.
yeah,
There was trash all over the place, water bottles all over the place, trash everywhere
mm,
that we picked up. Like,
mm,
be better, and we can be better.
yeah,
And so I think with your description of the bowl, like, it's
mhm,
just if that doesn't motivate you
yeah,
to be better, nothing's going to. And
yeah,
also, if that doesn't motivate you to take a trash bag with you when you're going hiking and backpacking and just pick up trash.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, beautifully said, and really good note about the fruit peels or nutshells. A lot of people are surprised when I ask them to please pack those out. Yeah, technically, I guess it will biodegrade, but the animals are going to get a hold of it. It's going to make them sick. And then that teaches the animals, oh, well, if there's humans, there's food. And that's why we have sometimes a problem down here at our campground down here at Pine Springs with skunks. They have learned how to
Oh, whoa, whoa,
open
whoa,
trees.
whoa, 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 whoa. Do not say anything bad about Sammy the skunk.
You have a
He
name.
he is our Pine Springs mascot.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Guaranteed
have a
wildlife.
video of him from my son where he went into his vestibule.
Oh.
He unzipped his side pocket of his backpack because there was a Nutty Buddy in there, and I told Connor, "Do not leave food in your backpack." Didn't listen because he was
Mm,
so wiped out by the hike.
mm.
So Sammy the skunk got him a Nutty Buddy.
See? There you go. See, exactly. So then just
And
entices the animals, yeah.
yeah, and let me tell you, you can be at Pine Springs about 2 in the morning, get outside of your tent. He's either gonna be there or you're gonna hear him going to other tents and people screaming, "Ah,
Yes.
skunk, ah, skunk, ah,
Yes.
skunk, ah, skunk."
Yeah.
But I usually start hiking about or starting to get ready to go hike about 2:33 in the morning, so we're cooking breakfast or whatever. He always comes and visits.
Wow.
He doesn't, like, threaten, he just kind of, "Hey, y'all got anything?" I'm like, "No, Sammy, go."
Mm,
My
yeah.
friend's, Sam had a cot out, and he got up on he didn't have a tent because we were so beat. He just set up a cot because his tent was crappy, and it's really hard to set up, and it was really late at night. So, Sammy jumped up on his cot and was smelling his lips because he had his mummy bag just like this around his face,
Oh my
and,
gosh.
yeah, so yes. So
See?
we have
Exhibit A.
imprinted yes, we've imprinted on Sammy, and I'm sure he's got brothers that he's
Yes.
showed them the secrets,
Mhm.
but yeah, I love Sammy and I remember I got up one time, I think it was my 1st or 2nd experience with Sammy, and Sam just goes I go, "Hey, you ready?" He goes, "Yeah, yeah, I'm getting up." And he goes, "Just watch out, Sammy's right there to your right."
Oh
And
my
I clicked my, headlamp and looked down,
oh
and he
my
was probably
gosh.
about a foot and a half from me, just, "Hey, what's going on? What we got for breakfast?" And then he knew he wasn't getting nothing because I don't imprint on animals, and he just
God.
kinda kinda moved
That
off.
is hilarious. I didn't know you had the skunk story.
Sammy the skunk, yes.
I
Every
people
time
mm,
every time I'm at Pine Springs, I run into Sammy. Every
yeah,
time, probably for the last 10 to 15 trips.
that is
That
so
that we're
funny.
staying at Pine Springs and not in the backcountry. Yep, Sammy, he comes to visit.
Wow. A mascot, truly, truly.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Secure your food, people.
Yes. And so that's a very interesting question. What is the rules that you guys enforce for securing the food or maybe that people can, because there's no place to hang, and so would you
Right.
just say, "Put it back in your car"? I guess
Yes,
the
yeah,
safest? Yeah, yeah.
absolutely nailed it. Yeah, it's, yeah, they've been known, like you've experienced, to unzip tents, unlatch coolers, undo
Mhm,
wrappers, yeah, hanging would just they'd still get it. So, yeah, definitely in the car, and I always remind kiddos, "No midnight snacks in your pocket."
mhm.
But yeah,
He
pretty much
will
any
get
scenario.
into your tent.
Yes, big time. Yeah, I have people come in distraught in the morning, "You climbed on me!" And what's
Mhm.
so funny is the skunks have never sprayed anybody.
Braid, yep.
So, I I fear that day if it does come, but yeah, so just secure your food, and in the backcountry, hanging food is absolutely sufficient, but if you have bear,
Mm,
boxes, bags, definitely brownie points, but yeah, the wildlife interfering with your camp is more of a problem here than
yep.
up on the mountain.
We were at Bush, and for some reason, we decided to cowboy camp. I'm like, "Oh, I've never cowboy camped, let's do it." So, I'm at the very first campsite, and I'm at the very edge, so, like, literally, the border is about 8 inches from my face, and the sun is starting to go down, and it's me, then Henning, then Sam, in the tent the area where you set up your
Mhm.
tents, just there with our air mattress and our quilts, and I'm a stomach sleeper, so I'm sleeping on my or laying on my stomach, and I'm just looking off to the side away from Henning, and there's an eyeball looking at me, and I'm like, "What the heck?" And
Oh
it
my
looked like
gosh.
a moth wing. You know how the wings of a moth have, like, the eyeball,
Oh,
like, the dark
yeah,
part?
yeah.
So it was brown, and then there was that dark part, and then I'm like, "Okay," and this is probably 10 inches from my face, and I really start to focus, and it was a rat or a ground squirrel or something,
Oh, wow.
and I
Mhm.
was just like, "Oh my god." And so that whole night, I did not sleep because I just knew that he was gonna come bite me.
Somebody's watching
Then
you.
yep, absolutely. I just saw him for maybe we looked at each other for about 30 seconds, and then he went back down on the ground and never saw him again, but yeah, that made for an uneasy night.
You're never alone.
No. So, what do you think are some little known I'd hate to use the words off map features, but off map meaning that maybe they're not highlighted on a trail map, or, or if there's any side trips that you can go from trails that follow the rules that you think experienced hikers would enjoy.
Yeah, and I think we talked about it earlier. Lost Peak
Mhm.
is one of our favorites. It is one of the top 10 tallest peaks in Texas. And Lost Peak is obtained from hiking out of Dog Canyon, going up the Tejas Trail. Pretty steep, and it used to be a actual designated route to the summit of it. That has since changed. But that view from Lost Peak is super cool, and you don't get that view from the other peaks in the park. I would say round trip, uh, about 7 miles ish,
Yeah.
few thousand feet of elevation, and you get to look out across the western side of the park. You get to see the dunes. You get to see just really how dramatic it changes from rolling mountaintops to just flat basin. So I really like that view, and it's kind of fun, kind of scrambling off trail. No rattlesnakes. But yeah, Lost Peak is one that's really, really fun, and I love it when people show me pictures from it or let me know they're gonna do it. Yeah, so that's one I would love to highlight, Lost Peak. Yeah, it's a bit off trail, so just having a good map and letting
Yeah.
someone letting someone know where you're going, having enough water, all that safety stuff. But that view is really, really special.
Yeah, and I think it's a very underrated peak in the park. It there is I think it's Tejas, so you can if you do the big loop,
Right.
whether it's from Bush or Tejas, but you start out heading down Tejas, and I'm just thinking mountain lion, like that the landscape, and, I'm just thinking, "Okay, if I was a mountain lion, this is where I would wanna hang out and jump on hikers."
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so it's a yeah, it's just a really neat feeling heading up that way to Lost Peak.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I love that one.
So what is your favorite time of the year to hike in the park? And that wraps up another exciting episode of the Trailblazing Texas podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode today, and stay tuned for our next episode where we will pick back up where we left off and guarantee to uncover many more hiking gems and share many more tips to enhance your experience on the trail. Until then, happy trails and happy hiking.